Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory, and it's been a little bit of a minute. So, if you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. We also have our personal social media channels, which, by the way, you can see in the description. You can see on the screen. If you got a couple of minutes, leave a rate and review because that also helps the channel grow as well. And give us a 5-star because, I mean, come on, it's the Mandatory, right? It's been a little minute. We haven't been with you guys for a little while because it's been slow in terms of news, but we've also been extremely busy. But we got a jam-packed show today. We're going to be talking about a few things. And of course, I'm going to take a look at Brian's captions. We are going to be doing our segment that we do. Brian, say hello. Say hello, Brian. They want to hear from you too.
I gotta finish updating the captions. We're a little, rusty because it's been a little bit. But really, it's just there's two main things we're going to talk about today, and then we might just kick it around. And the shows that there's not a lot to discuss tend to be really good. But Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis is obviously something we'll get into.
That's the first topic. That's the first topic we're going to talk about.
But there's also a piece of that just came up that as I was looking for an article that we'll talk about. And then the now announced Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman card, which I'm looking more forward to than you are. But otherwise, we've both been busy aside from here. And y'all can't lie. Even the biggest boxing fans in the world would acknowledge or should acknowledge that the sport's been dog shit basically for a lot of the summer. There was like a couple cool things that happened in July, but they front loaded the schedule, and now in September there's actually a fight tonight. Osles Iglesias is going to be competing tonight, apparently on ESPN Plus, not a top rank thing, obviously. And next week is Canelo Crawford. So, we'll be here. We'll be talking about that. We'll have stuff on that, stuff after the fact. Now you're Inoue's fighting next weekend. And then there's not like another like really, truly big fight until November.
Yeah, I'm not even going to lie. It's been such a long time. I forgot what our segment was called. And I think it's called the 8-count.
The 8-count. All right.
Okay. Nah, I'm just joking around. I know what it's called. So the 8-count is pretty much where we go around. We have a bunch of topics and we decide if we're going to get up or,
there's not a lot to do for this. You know what I mean? So, like, we're going to end up talking about rumors that don't even because we hate doing stuff because there's rumors all the time. We hate doing stuff on this show where it's like, oh, this is absolutely or this is a rumor, but like let's talk about it, and then it doesn't happen, and it's like, well, that was a waste, in most instances, like there are probably some people where it's like anything that involves them you kind of have to discuss, but like I don't know, do y'all care about Jaime Munguia apparently not getting any punishment? Apparently
we might talk about it. We might get up or not get up for the 8-count for that. But guys, remember, this is an interactive show. So remember to leave your comments, even if you're watching this after, leave your comments. But remember to hit that like and subscribe button. So let's get right into it. So it was announced a couple of weeks ago that Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis would be fighting each other. So that means that we're going to be getting a Jake Paul fight against a real fighter, actually. And they're having a presser today, if I'm not mistaken, Brian. They're having that later. They're not having that anymore?
2 weeks.
Okay.
They announced it yesterday, but it's going to be in 2 weeks. There's an issue with this fight. Well, many issues with this fight we'll talk about. There's an issue with this fight in terms of it hasn't yet apparently, according to, well, it's not a court. I'm pretty sure.
Well, they have the presser that's coming up, but is there not a specific date? Like, let's get into everything here.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So here we go. I'm going to share screen because this is what we do here. This is from Sports Illustrated. They're citing somebody else because I'm going to be honest with you, Sports Illustrated doesn't necessarily have like the largest budget in reporting at this point, like actual reporting like they used to. But and here it is. Georgia State Commission, Georgia Athletic Commission hasn't approved of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. And if you remember, the fight is supposed to take place in Atlanta. I think at State Farm Arena. September 2nd.
For November 14th.
For November 14th.
For November 4th. Yeah.
September 2nd. You kind of need that approval if you're going to do this. September 2nd article from Josh Peter of USA Today noted that the Georgia Athletic Commission Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, excuse me, which oversees all boxing events in the state, has still not approved this fight taking place. This is as of 2 days ago. The commission still hasn't approved this event yet, but it could still be considered at a future meeting. Robert A. Sinners, communications director for the Secretary of State, was quoted in saying in the article. So, and then you have bullshit like Jake Paul putting in work, whatever, whatever. But like that's basically it. And there's supposed to be a board meeting coming up September 18th, which is likely when like they'll decide if they can move forward with this venue, which is really interesting because that's when the press conferences are supposed to be. They're supposed to be like either the 16th or 17th or 17th and 18th. I should know this because one of them is going to be here and I may or may not be there. So we don't know if this is going to take place in Atlanta. We're pretty certain the fight's going to take place. It's been signed upon, and there are some theories as to why. Like I had heard that Gervonta Davis, like the plan was to announce this after beating Lamont Roach, but then he didn't beat Lamont Roach, so it was like, oh, this is awkward now. Like, what do you do? And this is why Lamont Roach reportedly is just like suing because he was entitled to a rematch that he's apparently not going to get. Now there's rumors about him fighting maybe Shakur, maybe it's Isaac Cruz. There's rumors upon rumors upon rumors just because it's boxing without like, people telling the truth about. But this is kind of where we are. We don't know where this is going to take place, but we just know it's going to take place.
Well, here's the thing. The boxing commission has to approve it. And so one of the questions that I was going to have on the show when we were breaking it down was, why would they approve this fight? Like, this is, I don't even know how a boxing commission would approve this fight. No, I'm just saying in terms of weight class. Like, this is probably not a safe fight for Gervonta Davis, depending on how small he is. I mean, this is a guy that fights at 135 pounds, and Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. Like, what boxing commission is going to approve this?
Heavyweight.
Yeah, okay, heavyweight. Yeah, he could be a heavyweight, but it doesn't mean he honestly, Jake Paul could be 100 pounds more than Gervonta Tank Davis. Like, I don't know how any boxing commission would approve this fight. This makes absolutely no sense, but it also brings the question to Gervonta Tank Davis. We all know what happened against Lamont Roach, right? And then questions started to arise, but obviously, like, Tank didn't look like himself. But at the same time, it's like, if you're not having the rematch with Lamont Roach and you're not fighting Shakur Stevenson, what are we doing here? It's a real question. And I've said on this show that I think Tank Davis is the best lightweight in the world. I have said that before, and I will stand on that. But you have to go avenge that fight against Lamont Roach, because Lamont Roach, I think a lot of people had him getting knocked out in that fight, and that didn't happen. Lamont Roach, in my opinion, won that fight. I had Lamont Roach edging Gervonta Tank Davis in that fight. Now, you're not going to go avenge what happened in that fight, right? And then you're not going to go fight Shakur Stevenson, which is the fight that everybody wants to see, because we want to know if you are the best lightweight in the world. You're going to fight Jake Paul. And remember, this is something that Tank Davis has been saying in terms of, I want to retire at some point. Like, I don't want to be boxing my whole life. I want to go out on my own terms, which is cool. But you're still essentially in your prime, and you're not choosing to fight Lamont Roach again. You're not choosing to fight where some people have Shakur Stevenson as the best lightweight in the world, maybe. You're not actually doing what needs to be done in terms of your legacy. Maybe you think your legacy is already there. I mean, you could argue that. But, like, you're fighting someone that you shouldn't even be fighting. This is a guy in Jake Paul that, regardless if you like Jake Paul or not, I mean, I think he has a little bit more cachet to his name. He's done a lot of great things for women's boxing, but he's not still like a real boxer. Not like, I mean, maybe some people think he is now at this point. I don't know. He definitely looks better. He has improved, but he's a cruiserweight. Like, what are we doing here? It's like me being like, you know what, Brian, let's me and you fight. It makes no sense, right?
We're closer in weight than they are.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is actually very true. But at the same time, you're a man, so it's like this. Right. Like, come on, like, you know what I
mean? There's plenty of women who can kick men's asses. I don't know. I don't think I could do that. Mine, but
no. I do think you have, like, what are you, like, walking around like 140?
No, a little more than that.
Okay, so
I'm
we're
close.
not close in weight at all.
I'm closer to 150. I probably walk around where no Tank probably
Okay,
walks
so
around
you're
heavier
like
than that.
45 pounds heavier than me.
If I
That's a big difference.
if I fought, I'd be a lightweight. I would cut from like where am I right now, 147 to like
Yeah.
135. I'd probably
Yeah,
do that.
if I fought, I would be at minimum weight and I'd fight out like 105.
Okay, we'll
That's what
call
I
up Sinisa Estrada, and
and I would actually have knockouts. I'm just saying. I got a nice left hook. I will say this though, like Brian, how does this fight even get approved? Like how are they going to make this
It's
happen?
money. It's probably the answer because it's America. We're a greedy ass country. It's money. You know what I mean? Like they're just looking at they're in their heads, and a lot of people said, so Gervonta said too, I'm sure, the skill will outweigh the weight. Like kind of like when Floyd fought Logan Paul, there was like a big size difference, but all of us were like, yeah, Floyd will be fine. Now, Jake Paul's a lot better than Logan Paul in terms of boxing. Logan Paul's a really impressive athlete, legitimately. If you watch him in a WWE, he's legitimately actually a good wrestler. It's not boxing though; it's different. Jake Paul was much better than him. Gervonta Davis probably better than that version of Floyd that we saw a few years ago. Given that Floyd is a lot older, he's not better than peak Floyd, obviously, nowhere close to be honest. But I think maybe it's just the skill outweighing it, but ultimately it's just money. Like the people involved are looking at this like, and here, if we could go even deeper into like, this is not a conspiracy theory. I legitimately think this. Remember when we talked about Manny Pacquiao and how is Manny Pacquiao getting a title shot?
Yeah.
And the point that I kept hitting was, I think this is a PBC call. I think PBC is like, instead of having Mario Barrios fight Solomon Sissoko, Raul Curiel, whoever the top contenders were for the WBC title, like top welterweights in the WBC rankings, who are nondescript. And if you're going to sell like a Mario Barrios fight, like the PBC thing on Amazon hasn't gone well. They're not as active, not putting out as many cards. There's a pretty good one coming up. We'll talk about it. Not as many good ones as we thought there were going to be. And because of that, I think with Mario Barrios being a champion that's like seen as weak, and then Manny Pacquiao is somebody who's always had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Maybe, they just threw him a bag and he's like, okay, I'll come back, or I'll come back under these conditions, whatever it is. And then it's like, boom, you're selling a fight where Manny Pacquiao conceivably can beat the weakest champion in the division. And ultimately, if that's the case, where you have Manny Pacquiao plausibly, and by the way, that fight was a draw. Like we saw it happen. There was a real case for Manny Pacquiao winning. We both thought Mario Barrios might have done enough, but regardless, it was very close. And I think similarly here, PBC just needs a banger. So instead of doing Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach 2, they feel like they can get more money with Jake Paul.
Well, do you think that's the angle of why they're doing this? You think that's why they're doing this?
Even though this is going to be on Netflix, like the Amazon thing hasn't gone well, so it's like PBC is going to make money off of Tank. They have to. And ultimately, I thought Tank was probably they were probably gonna announce this after he beat Lamont Roach. Now, all that to the side, I still think this is a bullshit fight.
Well, that's where I want to get into, because it's like you make great points in terms of like it being a grab. Like I would watch this 100%.
Yeah, like
right? Like
this
is 100%. This is going to be the most. If this happens, this is going to be the most watched Jake Paul fight ever. Yeah, way more than Mike Tyson. Way more.
We would rather watch Tank Roach 2. Yeah. But boxing, especially in this country, continues to fucking kill itself, where all the premier boxing people, quote unquote, in the media space are doing shit like this, doing shit on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you this, and Shantelle can tell you this, is people who actually work in media, like legitimate, real media, both traditional, non-traditional, but also, TV, digital, all these different things. These motherfuckers ain't covering boxing anymore. I've been told from multiple outlets Like, yeah, we're gonna cut down on boxing stuff. This has been happening for fucking years. Years. They
Dude,
do
where
not
I live
care.
at, yeah, where I live at, they don't cover boxing at
They
all.
don't give a shit. There's only two places in the world where boxing is healthy right now: the UK and Japan. That's it. Everywhere else, eh, you know what I mean? And like from a professional perspective, because you can look at the amateur scene in Ukraine or Uzbekistan or wherever, that's different. But from a professional boxing perspective, where the sport is talked about all the time, or like it's just a couple of places, which opens the door for Saudi Arabia to do what they're doing, by the way. But I think with the Gervonta Davis element of this, where he's been hinting at walking away, talking about, I want to better myself, I want to go to therapy. Then he got arrested. But like, I just think this is him on the way out, being like, let me just make some money and do this Jake Paul thing, which is an exhibition that's not even going to count towards his record.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a money thing, right? But I think the thing that worries me, and I think what we should focus on, is the fact that if he takes this fight, I think that's one step closer to Tank being like, hey, I'm going to ride off into the sunset. Because why would he take this fight otherwise? Like, you don't take this type of fight in your prime. So that tells me we're not going to get that Shakur Stevenson fight against Tank. That tells me that he might not even be looking at this Lamont Roach fight. Now, could things happen where he takes some time off and wants to come back? I mean, boxers do that. Manny Pacquiao did that, right? Manny Pacquiao retired. Manny Pacquiao is in the Hall of Fame. Okay. And he came back. So is there potential for Tank to do that? I just think this kind of taints his legacy a bit. And I've been one that's been riding for Tank, like, no, like, I think he has a good resume. I think people are sleeping on his resume. And Bryan, why don't you use that screen that you have that you like to use so much? And why don't we bring up his resume? Because here's the thing. If Tank takes this fight, he's going to make a lot of bread, and that's great for him, right? Boxers put their lives on the line every time they head into the ring. They should get paid a good amount. However, if we don't get the Shakur Stevenson fight, if he doesn't have this rematch against Lamont Roach, like, what does that say about Tank's resume? It will always be a knock on his career that he never, ever, ever fought Shakur Stevenson. Oh, Bryan's still looking up stuff.
Yeah, we got
I
it.
will say this. Yeah.
No, we got it. I was just something
Versus
happened in
Terrence
the
Crawford.
Slovenia game in Eurobasket. I was a little preoccupied. Okay, here we go. So if we're looking at the resume, first of all, you see a lot of this in boxing just in the beginning. So we're gonna just bypass that, but just beating up on dudes, beefing up your record, guys who are just not have good records and things like that. Although this is pretty funny. Gervonta Davis was 7-0 and fought somebody making his debut. Knocked him out in the first round, Hector Lopez, and never fought again.
Yeah.
You see some of this shit. This is why when the Jake Paul thing was happening, like I was like, listen, we do want him to fight somebody. At the same time, like, he's doing what other boxers do, just on a more high profile level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's more to it than that, but we'll just table it there. Going ahead, this is his first major test, so to speak. And this is still one of his best wins, to be honest with you. Jose Pedraza, super featherweight championship. I was there for this one. I was covering this one. This is one of the first fights I probably covered. It was like the second one at Barclays Center. Because at this point, there was like a like New York boxing couldn't, like, the athletic commission was wilding. They couldn't put on events for a little bit. Like, there was nothing in the state from August 3rd until this happened. I remember Lou DiBella being a big part of getting over that. He actually promoted this with Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather was pissed off about this card for other reasons. Anyway, Jose Pedraza was the IBF super featherweight champion, loses to Gervonta Davis. Pedraza was the betting favorite for a good amount, and then this sort of leveled out, like, even money. Like, this was actually seen as like a pick'em fight. Jose Pedraza versus Gervonta Davis. So with hindsight, some people will be like, "Oh, this is not a real test." Like, no, this was a real fight. It's also Jose Pedraza we're talking about. Now, he was undefeated. He was a good champion, but before this fight, I heard Paulie reference this because it just struck a memory, so to speak. Pedraza had a fight with Edner Cherry, where Edner Cherry probably should have won.
Yeah.
So There's that, but still, that's a real win for Tank. That's the best win so far. So we're in 2017. We're in January. Let's see how far we go. We have Liam Walsh, Francisco Fonseca, no relation. Jesus Cuellar, Hugo Ruiz, Ricardo Nunez, Yuriokis Gamboa.
That's a name, though. Leo
like
Santa Cruz, to me,
this
is
the
one of the best names. Yeah. Leo Santa Cruz, to me, is one of the best names on Tank's resume, and he doesn't get a lot of credit for this one.
because
And he knocked him out cold. And I know Leo Santa Cruz was moving up in weight.
That's why he doesn't.
I understand that. But at the same time, he's still a champ, because that's always the knock. But to me, like, Leo Santa Cruz is one of my favorite boxers of all time. And I think that there needs to be a little bit more weight on that. Also, the Mario Barrios fight, remember, that was at 140 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, Tank came up for that fight. He never ended up going back up to 140 pounds after that fight. But that was a fight where I know you guys say that Mario Barrios is the weakest champ, and all of that. I understand. I understand it, but he's still a good fighter.
Sure.
Like, in my opinion, he is awesome. A good fighter.
If Tank is, this is the thing with Tank, is this is not a Hall of Fame resume. It's just not. It's not like an all-time great. It's not like he'll be remembered. We'll talk about his legacy now. He'll be remembered because he was popular, because of the knockout power. He'll also be remembered for not really fighting the people we should be fighting. Like, the problem isn't with Leo Santa Cruz and Mario Barrios, like, whether they're good or not. The problem is, like, he's not fighting the best guys of his era. He never really did. That's the issue. Like, if you go just look at who were the top ranked dudes at the time he was around, like, you're not seeing these people on these lists, You're just not. Like, you're seeing Mario Barrios maybe because he was a champ at 140. By the way, the WBA title was being fought for. This is why you're not seeing like championships here, is because the WBA title is involved in a lot of these, and boxing doesn't recognize the WBA, probably in part because of bullshit like this. So Leo Santa Cruz, I think, is one of his best wins, but Leo Santa Cruz is also coming up in weight. He was a champion at featherweight. And I had Leo Santa Cruz ahead at the time that he got knocked out.
I mean, a lot of those fights, even the Rolly fight, I had Rolly ahead in that fight before he got knocked out cold. Hector Luis Garcia, I did. I've been on record saying that I had Rolly.
Yeah, in that fight. One judge did, and so Barrios, that was his first loss. Say what you want about Barrios, at least Tank beat the undefeated version of him. Cool. Isaac Cruz, Tank famously got hurt in that fight. Don't know how that would have gone otherwise, but he still won the fight. Close, but he still won the fight. He had to really box his way to finish.
Rolly was undefeated at that time too before he got knocked out.
Yeah, but he was like none of these guys are A-level. None of them. Like, that's the thing. Like, at the time he fought them, none of them are A-level. Like,
except for Leo Santa Cruz.
I don't think so.
I think
not
Leo
this
Santa
version
Cruz
was not this version of him, and not at 130.
Not at one. We had never seen him at 130, but you can't knock who Leo Santa Cruz was at that point.
I could.
I don't. Why not? I don't think you could. He was great. Like, this guy was a former champion.
Yeah, but
former champ.
Okay, so it's like coming up in weight. So, like, let's see.
But that still doesn't knock his resume from the past. Like, yeah, he was coming up in weight, but he's still Leo Santa Cruz.
So he had the 2 fights with Carl Frampton. The first one was actually the first one I ever covered, and Frampton wins that fight. He barely wins the second one. I actually thought that could have been a draw very easily. Avalos, Abner Mares. Was Abner Mares coming out of retirement for this one, or was that later? I don't even know.
That was later, I believe.
But Rafael Rivera, Miguel Flores, which was fairly close. And then the Tank fight. And then after that, just one win against Keenan Carbajal. And then that was
haven't seen him since.
I just I don't know. Like, I wouldn't call that version of Leo Santa Cruz like an A-level dude. I think he was prior to that, at that point of his career. How old was he at the time that they fought? Do you know?
I don't remember, but I don't think he was that old. I think he was like 30, maybe.
He was 31.
Okay, yeah.
So not like super old, but 30,
I still think
32,
I still think before
actually.
This is what I think. I think Leo Santa Cruz was very underrated because at the time that he fought Tank, like, I think him getting knocked out the way that he did changed the trajectory of his career, because it was a nasty knockout by Tank, right? Like, it was one of the nastiest knockouts that year. But I think that changed his career trajectory, because if you look at Leo Santa Cruz's resume after. Like, he didn't really fight after.
He was in the 14th year of his career and 32 years old.
Yeah. So that's near the
I mean,
latter end. But I still
do
think
you
he
think
had.
that's an A-level dude?
Yeah, because I still think in your early 30s, you could still be considered an A-level dude. Like look at what we're seeing now. Like, how old is Usyk? How
That's
old is
different.
Beterbiev?
That's
But no,
different.
but it's different in the sense I don't think Leo Santa Cruz was those guys, but he was still a really, really good fighter and a former champ coming up from 126 pounds.
It's
So
not
it's like we can't say like he's like a not good of a fighter
No, what I'm
just because
saying
he's
is
coming up in weight.
I
Like, a
don't
lot of guys come up in weight.
I don't think he was his peak self, is what I'm saying. Because like with
Yeah.
Alexander Usyk and Artur Beterbiev and some of these dudes like Bivol, they're gonna peak later because they turned pro later and they were amateurs for longer. Whereas Leo Santa Cruz was in his 14th year. You know, like I
But
think
Crawford's like 38 years old.
yeah, but he has also been pro for less time and for a lot less fights than Canelo Alvarez has.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like, but remember
Different
how good
style
Bud
too.
was.
Different style too. Like
Remember
Leo
how
Santa
old
Cruz
Bud
was in
was at
action
31
fights.
years old.
Yeah, but
But
Leo Santa Cruz is in like action fights. Terrence
all the
Crawford
time.
Terrence Crawford doesn't have like yeah, and those guys peak sooner is what I'm saying. So like
Yeah.
like if I'm going back to Leo Santa Cruz real quick, I hate that BoxRec makes you do this.
Yeah, they gotta get rid of the ads too. And now you
Yeah.
gotta go. Now you gotta go look.
Now I gotta go like work my way. So we'll do it this way. Shakur, go to the lightweights, go to Tank,
Yeah.
go to Leo Santa Cruz.
That's the easiest way without typing. Like I think they got to figure out a better way for that.
Yeah, I didn't feel like doing shit. So he was peak Leo Santa Cruz during the Carl Frampton fights, 1000%.
100%.
Still,
And this is a great comment by Foxy, who's a good friend of the show. Leo Santa Cruz had two wars with Frampton, and obviously that's going to take a little bit off.
Was he
Like,
still in
when
his
you're in a
prime
war-
after those two fights? Would be my question.
I think so. I think you could say that. I think what changed it was the way he got knocked out by Tank.
Okay.
Because if you also remember, there was a lot of money coming on Leo Santa Cruz to beat Tank as well.
Was there? I don't remember that.
There was a lot of people that were riding with Leo Santa Cruz in that fight.
Where the fuck were they? Tank was like a favorite for that fight.
Well, let's also keep in mind, I'm on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast.
So
it's very different. Like, there's very different fan bases. A lot of people were right. What do you mean so? There's a bunch of Leo Santa Cruz here on the West Coast.
They're not going to affect the odds. They're not going to affect the odds.
But if they put more money on Leo Santa Cruz, the odds will change, right? Like, we worked in betting before.
That's not what happened, though.
I'm not saying that he was a favorite, but I'm saying that more money came on Leo Santa Cruz closer to the fight.
No, it didn't, because Tank was minus 300 and then became minus 600.
That was like near like the last day, but people were putting money on Leo Santa Cruz because at one point I think it was like he was a minus 250. And then he went up to a minus 300, and then more people started putting money on Tank. But they were putting money on Leo Santa Cruz.
Okay, he was a big favorite.
I'm just saying.
So
I'm not saying that he wasn't a big favorite. I'm just saying that Leo Santa Cruz is a name on his resume, and I don't think that he was past his prime when he fought Tank.
Okay, so if I give you Leo Santa Cruz, that's it. Like, that's the list. If you're talking about A-level dudes, if we want to say Leo Santa Cruz was one at the time, I would say probably B+, but semantics.
Yeah.
Mario Barrios is not an A-level guy. Isaac Cruz, all due respect to his amazing fan base, no. Rolly Romero, no. Hector Luis Garcia, who I really like and am high on, no. And he lost to Lamont Roach.
Is he a B or C level guy?
That's a good question.
Because I think that's here's the thing,
though. I want to put him at a B, but
I think you might have to say he's a C level guy. I don't know if he'd be a B level guy.
The loss to Lamont Roach knocks him down more.
He didn't lose though. It's a draw.
No. Hector Luis Garcia's loss to Lamont Roach knocks him down more. Which ended up setting up this fight. But again, this is Tank picking on a dude who was a champion at 130.
But didn't Hector Luis Garcia fight Lamont Roach after Tank?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't talk about what he did after he fought Tank. We have to talk about what he did before he fought Tank.
I mean, he hadn't done much. Like,
but he was still undefeated.
He beat Chris Colbert.
He was still undefeated.
No, but what I'm saying, the reason why I bring up after the fact is because you still learn more about how good somebody is after the fact. This is why you have to go back and look at it.
True, but I think the
hindsight does matter. Like, if you look at Hector Luis Garcia, like if if Hector Luis Garcia ends up losing to Tank, which he did, and then ends up beating Lamont Roach probably never fights Tank to begin with.
Okay, so this is
And
my
this
disagreement
is
with that.
another thing where like Tank again, Leo Santa Cruz champion at 126, Hector Luis Garcia champion at 130, fights him at 135. Lamont Roach champion at 130, fights him at 135. And there are other examples in like this area where he's fought, like Francisco Fonseca doesn't even make weight.
Here's why
Tank
here's
lost the
why I
title
say
on the
that it
scale
doesn't
and then
knock
got
it
another
down
title
is
after.
here's why I say it doesn't knock it down, because you can only really judge up until he fought Tank, because what can happen is you can get fucking knocked out, right? But that didn't happen in that fight, but he hurt his eye in that fight, if you remember that fight correctly. Like, so he can see, I don't know what, blurred vision, but that can change your career trajectory. For example, Errol Spence. Look at what happened to him. He went through so much stuff. And like, I think that really affected how he fought after he had the car accident. He had the eye issue. Like, so up until leading up to it, if he didn't have all those things happen, maybe something would have went different. And I'm not saying that he would have beat Bud, but I'm just saying that when Hector Luis Garcia fought Tank, he was undefeated. Of course, after that fight is going to have a toll on your body. Just like how Foxy said, that Leo Santa Cruz had wars with Carl Frampton, right? For example, like we recently just saw a big UK war, and there's going to be a rematch with Conor Benn. Conor Benn's not going to be the same after that fight.
Neither is Chris Eubank
right?
Jr.
And so, yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're not going to be the same after that fight. So we can't really be like, okay, well, like Hector Luis Garcia lost to him, but then Lamont Roach beat him, or like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be up until the fact he fought Tank. That's what you can judge him on, because you don't know how you're going to be after that fight. You could, like, that fight could have affected you in more ways that you know, right? So it's like you're not the same boxer. Every time you're in a fight in the ring, a little bit of your life takes away. Like, let's be serious here, because you're getting hit. It's literally what happens when you go into the ring.
Okay, so if
like,
I say Hector Luis Garcia is a B-level guy instead of a C-level guy, who fucking cares?
No, I don't care.
That doesn't help his resume enough.
No, but the only argument that I'm saying is that Brian's been doing his show for way too long. Let me get my point off.
I did.
Okay, no, all I'm saying is that, like, you're saying, listen, like, you have to look at what he did after Tank as well. It's like, I don't think so.
No, I'm saying you learn more. I'm saying
obviously,
that can't be totally irrelevant.
I don't know about that, because it, like, I think there's two ways to look at it. So I wouldn't agree with you on that.
Because if you're judging someone and their quote unquote legacy, like that, you're going to judge with like how things ended up materializing after. Like part of the whole reason people love LeBron's championship in Cleveland so much is because what came after in Golden State. Like, oh, if he didn't win that one, he was probably never going to have another chance to do so because of what happened with Golden State, adding Kevin Durant and then just running the league for a couple of years. Like, there are mad historical instances that we can point to with hindsight and be like, oh, this set up this, there's this chain reaction. And I think with Tank, it also doesn't matter that much, because none of these dudes are A-level. None of them. Maybe Leo Santa Cruz.
No, but I
none
think
of them are.
Okay, so obviously,
how many Hall of Famers are on this list?
I'm not saying there's any. I'm not even saying that there's any Hall of Famers on this list. Like, who are you put? I'm just saying that his resume, there are some names on the resume. Are they like the biggest champs? No. But that's the knock that's going to come on Tank if he doesn't fight Shakur Stevenson. Loma retired, right? He was supposed to fight Loma at one point. Then Loma, that fight never went down. That wasn't Tank's fault. But nonetheless, it's like, I don't know. He's still one of the most exciting boxers, but I think him not fighting Shakur Stevenson and him fighting Jake Paul, I think that's the whole thing. I don't think we're going to see him fight Shakur Stevenson.
These are the top super featherweights from like 2016 to like 2019. So before he fought Jose Pedraza was 5th. This is the win that we were talking up. And then obviously Tank goes to like 2 after starting to clean out the division. If you look at all of these dudes, he's not fighting any of them when he's champion. The top guys in 2017, he didn't fight them that year or the year after. 2018, he didn't fight any of these dudes when he moved up. 2019, he didn't fight any of these dudes when he moved up either. Like, and he's atop this list, and he's not fighting any of these dudes up here. And now this is around the time where he fights.
If
Leo
you
Santa
actually
Cruz.
move up, go a little bit up. Go up. Move your screen.
What am I looking for?
Just is that Ryan Garcia that I see in 2018 being a top dude?
Yeah.
Okay, so when did he fight him? 2021, 2022?
2023.
Okay. Well, was it that long ago? Okay, so but he
or
was
that much later. Yeah. No, Ryan, we can't even get to yet.
Yeah.
Like we're about to, but hold on. Let me see something in the featherweight division. What year he fights Leo Santa Cruz? 2020. So Leo Santa Cruz, in terms of featherweights, was third in 2019.
Okay,
sounds about right.
So yeah, he's ranked the top guy.
Yes, sounds about right. Although this weight class was not particularly like awesome at this point. It used to be.
There's an argument to be made for
Shakur was
essentially
top.
everything.
Shakur was number 1 already. Jeez.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's very interesting to say the least. But
and then if you go to like lightweight, let me go to lightweight now, because in the lightweight division is where he's been now for the last few years. And look, you can say what you want about these rankings. This is Ring, by the way. I mean, this is a BoxRec, by the way, not Ring. This is BoxRec's annual ranking. So do with it what you will. This is lightweight in 2020. He fights Isaac Cruz in late 2021. So Isaac Cruz the year before was in the top 10 as far as BoxRec is concerned. He beats him and he's still in the top 10, actually. Tank is not, for some reason, in. They probably had him ranked in at 140 because he beat Mario Barrios that year. I'm not even going to look at Mario Barrios' ranking because who cares? Rolly Romero 2022. So in 2020,
was Rolly even ranked in the top 10?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's
Absolutely
what I thought, though.
Shocking. And Ryan Garcia, was he even? So Ryan Garcia, there was the whole thing about like the weight or whatever. I think at this point he might have even been 140. I'll check that.
Yeah. And also, I think Ryan had surgery, right? Like he had surgery on his wrist at one point during that time, like before he fought Tank, if I'm not mistaken.
He also stepped away before that.
Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff that went on with Ryan Garcia, but nonetheless, I think the big question is Brian, because we can go through Tank's resume.
Ryan Garcia was third in 2022.
I think that you could say that, sure, there's not a Hall of Famer on the resume. What I will ask you is, since he's now taking this fight with Jake Paul, if the boxing commission is like, okay, we're going to do it because money talks, do you think he fights Shakur Stevenson? That is the question, because that's the fight we want to see. Because if he has Shakur Stevenson on his resume, that changes everything. That changes everything. Despite the fact if he doesn't have a rematch with Roach, even though he should, right? Do you think he fights Shakur Stevenson? And if he doesn't, that will taint his career, correct?
Yeah, he's already said Shakur, like, what has he done? He's not worthy of fighting me, essentially. And I'm like, what are you fucking, what? He has a title. Like, what are you saying? Yeah. Like, I just, it's like he's doing things deliberately not to fight the best dudes. Foxy has a good comment here. Looking at other guys like Haney, Loma, Shakur, Teofimo, and even Kambosos, all have a mix of being lineal, unified, ring, undisputed, beating reigning pound-for-pound fighters. Does Tank have any of that? No. Nobody. Shakur is younger, turned pro later, so he needs more of that too. But I believe Shakur when he says he actually wants to legitimately fight these people. I believe it. Like he seems sincere in that. He also beat William Zepeda. William Zepeda would be in terms of wins for.
And I think that's a name. So this is what I'm saying is like this is the same comparison that I would make to Tank. Jose Pedraza, Leo Santa Cruz, Ryan Garcia, however you want to say it. They might not be like A-listers, but it's a name. Just like how William Zepeda is probably the best name on Shakur Stevenson's resume right now. That's the only point that I'm making, is that Shakur Stevenson does want to fight a guy like Tank Davis. He does want to fight guys like, I think Shakur will eventually move up in weight as well. But Shakur wants to fight the top guys in the division. That is proven. Like, he does want to fight the top guys. But wouldn't you say that William Zepeda is the best name on his resume? Jamel Herring's a name, but I mean, this is the best name on it.
He was ranked pretty high too. I mean, he was a champion that Shakur stopped.
Oscar Valdez.
Shit.
He has Oscar Valdez on his resume.
Valdez is the best one.
Okay.
That was also a title unification. Tank is never unified.
Yeah.
You know,
but I don't think. Well, here's the thing though. Here's the only thing that I will say. I don't think Oscar Valdez was the same fighter that he was in previous years when he fought Shakur Stevenson.
Even though he was undefeated.
I mean, let's go to Oscar's resume right there.
We'll look. But let's come to consensus on this. Tank's best wins, best 3 are what?
Leo Santa Cruz, Jose Pedraza,
Ryan?
and yeah, I would probably say Ryan Garcia. Hector Luis Garcia, I'd put up there, I think. But then again, like we just talked about
I really like him, but I can't put him above like even Mario Barrios. That version. I can't put him above. Yeah. Can I put him above Rolly? I don't know. I don't think I can.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But then who was Rolly at that point? Like, he was still really unproven. Yeah. Rolly hadn't been fighting for a really long time at that point either. He started later in his life.
He was dangerous though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he definitely is. I mean, look, he recently just beat Ryan Garcia.
Santa Cruz.
Jose Pedraza.
And Ryan. Ryan's a weird one. I think a lot of people would put Ryan first, but like
Frank Martin, would you not like, he was a young rising star, but like not really
another really solid B-level guy who probably should have lost the fight that he had before against Artem Haratudian, or at least had a draw, you know. I think the top 3 is the top 3. I struggle with the Ryan one because like at that point there was a lot of weird shit going on, and then also there was the weight clause. You've always hit this point. I do feel like that kind of like that does matter a little bit. Like the rehydration thing, especially considering how like Ryan's a pretty big dude, you know? He's fighting at welterweight now. I still think Ryan has to be in that top 3. It legitimately is between Pedraza and Santa Cruz.
But that's what I was about to say. The fact that we want to say Ryan Garcia is one of his best wins, that's not that great of a win, I don't think. I hate to say it.
Under those conditions.
Because like, what has Ryan Garcia proven? Whereas I feel like Leo Santa Cruz has proven how good he is. Obviously not in that weight class, and so had Jose Pedraza at that point. Right? Like, what has Ryan Garcia proven?
He's a star.
That's it though. But so is Tank.
No. But what I'm saying is like he's a star more so for his out the ring stuff than his in the ring stuff. He's also one of these dudes who's like really, really talented, but for whatever reason hasn't put it all together. And it looked like he was going to. And then like Ryan Garcia's best win is Oscar Duarte.
Oh wow! I didn't even really think about. Is it Devin Haney? No, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Luke Campbell. Although Luke Campbell had 3 losses at this point.
Oscar Duarte is probably for Fortuna. I think Fortuna is a former champ.
Yeah,
but so I probably.
But he was fighting at 140, and Fortuna's definitely a 130, 126. Yeah. Like, it's Duarte. It's like easily Duarte too. It's Duarte and Luke Campbell.
And Devin Haney with the asterisk. Right? Like that would be his
Velez, maybe?
No. Now we're getting down the rabbit hole here.
Hey, Velez could crack, yo. All right.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on Tank. We've spent over a half an hour on
Shakur
Tank.
Shakur real quick, because we haven't done. So, like, this dude has a resume for somebody who only has been a pro for like 8 years, because You mentioned Jamel Herring. I had, for whatever reason, that escaped me. But like, even before this, when he was coming up, so his first world title is against Joet Gonzalez, who was undefeated at the time.
That's a great win, actually, in my opinion.
Vacant title. Joet
Joet
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has been in some wars, guys.
He's still like a real contender. It's still like
Yeah.
he's still like a real dude. He's not like a champion, but he's still
he
like
just
a real
can't get
dude.
it done in championship fights. Like that's the only knock with Joet Gonzalez. Comes so close, and then he just like can't get it done in the
He
championship
beat
fight.
Christopher Diaz when he was a contender, and Christopher Diaz had one loss at that point, fought for a world title, and is actually fighting for a world title this weekend inexplicably. And I really like Christopher Diaz. I wrote a feature on him before, but I don't know if he deserves that title shot. Henry LeBron should be in it, not him. Jamel Herring was a champion, and Shakur took him out, like stopped him. That was like a dominant, like, oh shit, okay, like, okay, I guess he's here. And then immediately right after that, the first fight that you and I ever broke down together, I think, at Fundora, one of them, Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez.
Yeah.
We both had Shakur by decision.
And let's be serious, like Shakur dominated against Oscar Valdez. And Oscar Valdez, I don't think, like at that point, I think he had been in some wars, and like we just talked about fight style.
I'm pulling up now.
And you know, you have a different fight style, and the way that Oscar Valdez fights, he does get hit a lot. I will say this though, Shakur Stevenson like dominated him. Like absolute. And Oscar Valdez, who is fighting this weekend, by the way, is one of my favorite fighters of all time. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I wanted Oscar Valdez to beat Shakur Stevenson. Like I was straight rooting for Oscar Valdez in that fight. I'm not even afraid to like admit that. I was upset the way that he lost. And Robson Conceição is a tough fight. Like Shakur has built up a resume. Like you guys, that is a very, very tough fight. That's not an easy fight. We know Robson Conceição is very tricky. He's a tricky fighter.
Gold medalist.
Yeah. So I actually like Shakur's resume a lot.
Shirishiro Yoshino, who he made look like shit. I actually thought Yoshino was going to be like a tough challenge for him.
And in Japan, they love him. In Japan, he's very like that's a big name in Japan. Very much so.
Edwin de los Santos, that was the famous dud where it was like, you know, at that point, Haratunian, Padley, and then William Zepeda. So his top 3 wins are easily in order.
Oscar Valdez,
Herring, Zepeda.
And I think I would also put Robson Conceição in there.
He's probably 4th.
Okay, because I think that's a tough fight.
Yeah, he's 4th.
So I think we can agree. I think his best win is Oscar Valdez.
I think it's easily. But is that win better than every win on Tank's resume?
Yes, 100%.
I think it is too.
Because it's Oscar Valdez. Like, what are we talking about here?
That version of Valdez is better than the version.
Do you remember when he knocked out Miguel Burchelt? He fought. That's one of the greatest knockouts ever in the last decade.
Let's show Oscar Valdez some love. He's fighting this weekend. Why not?
Yeah.
Which,
by the way, like, where are they having that fight? Because he's not like, what's going on with Top Rank? Like, I don't even know where I'm going to be able to see this fight.
I think it's Azteca in Mexico.
Okay,
but doesn't even say on BoxRec. Jesus.
On television, where will I be able to watch it? Like, will I be able to watch this?
Someone's streaming it on YouTube. Are they? I don't know. It's a comeback fight in Mexico. It's the first fight in Mexico in a long ass time too. So that's going to be cool. Let's go back because Oscar Valdez. Funny, I was actually here not that long ago because I was looking to see like one of his early fights. So these are all still prospect fights, and then you start seeing the names get better.
Yeah.
Evgeny Gradovich was a motherfucker. Like this dude was tough as shit, and Oscar Valdez just took him out in 4 rounds. At the MGM Grand, with the undercard of Pacquiao Bradley.
Wow. Yeah.
The rematch, the second Pacquiao Bradley fight.
Man, Oscar Valdez has been fighting for so long. Like, I forget how long he's been fighting.
Yeah. He'd been fighting for almost 10 years by the time he fought Shakur.
Yeah.
So Matias Reda was undefeated.
That was a good fight.
2 rounds. Mariaga. So this was like the first like big
Oscar Valdez
fight. First big test, I felt like. And because they also put it at the StubHub Center.
That was a great fight. I'm going to go watch that on YouTube.
We love the StubHub Center. I wish it was still called the StubHub Center.
I know. Great venue.
Genesis Cervanea. Valdez got dropped in that fight, I remember. And then dropped him the next round. That was a really good fight. Scott Quigg, actually, who was good, was a champion. was really popular. I think Foxy in the chat will attest to that. He also notes that Luke Campbell retired after his loss to Ryan Garcia. Isn't he running? Isn't he like a politician now?
I don't know.
On a questionable platform, I might add. A couple other undefeated fighters here. I don't remember Carmine Tomasona as well. I remember Jason Sanchez Moore, Adam Lopez, who's been in tough fights.
That was a very tough fight.
Velez, who at that point was, and then the Burchell one that you mentioned. Goddamn. Burchell
also fought Robson Conceição, yeah.
Before Shakur, and then Shakur fought him after. Lopez, again, yeah, that was a rematch. And then Wilson Navarrete. His best wins would probably be Burchell's one.
100%.
Burchell's one.
I still remember that fight because Adrian Broner was fighting the same night.
Who was he fighting? Do you remember?
It was like one of his comebacks. I don't remember, but I was like, I'm gonna record the Broner fight.
Santiago. ESPN Deportes is gonna have the fight. Foxy says.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Foxy.
All right.
I will say this. So let's move away from this because we've spent almost an hour.
You don't want to do top 3 wins for Oscar Valdez? Burchell.
Sure, let's do it.
Burchell, Mariaga, maybe.
Yeah, he had to put that on there.
Quigg.
Conceição. Conceição's a tough fight.
He beat Conceição first.
Yeah. I would put him on there.
Gradovich was an introduction for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that was an early tough fight, in my opinion. So for Oscar Valdez, though, I will say this: he's fighting this weekend, you guys. So if you are a Valdez fan, go check it out. But I will say this: I think Shakur Stevenson wants that fight because I think Shakur Stevenson can win. And after we saw what happened against Lamont Roach, I had Lamont Roach winning 7-5. I watched that fight like at least 6 times. I had it 7-5 every time. And I will say that I think if Lamont Roach could do that to Tank, I think Shakur Stevenson can beat Tank. I think there is some doubt in Tank's mind. And I think Tank wants to have the O. And I think Tank is near the end. He's been saying it like, yo, I don't want to fight for a long time. He's been saying it for a while. So why not make the most money that he can make? He's going to make way more money fighting Jake Paul than he would make fighting Shakur Stevenson. Even though for us, we would love. I know, but even though, unless like Turk came through with the bread or something, right? But
Tank ain't doing business with him either. That's
exactly. They don't like each other, and Tank doesn't need him. Let's be real. Tank does not need him
to do that. Yeah,
but
I get it.
The amount of money that Tank and Jake Paul might possibly make for this fight is going to be bananas. And Tank won't have to fight again if he doesn't want to. And I don't think he wants to. The only thing is, how much does Tank care about his legacy? And we've had this conversation, and guys get asked this all the time. Do you care more about the money, or do you care more about the legacy? Guys back in the day used to fight for legacy. I don't think a lot of guys care about legacy anymore. Guys also used to fight for the ring title. That was a big deal. It was a big deal back in the day.
They're trying to make it a big deal again, but
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? That was like it was a big deal. Like,
because
boxing has
it was
changed.
two top 5 dudes fighting for the lineal title. Like forever. You remember this when Tyson Fury was like not fighting and on like about to come back, and then came back and hadn't fought like anybody of note yet before the Deontay Wilder fight. He's the lineal champion.
Yeah.
He beat the guy. You know what I mean? Like everyone was throwing that around. And that's something that walks with, like, that's one of the things people are going to remember Tyson Fury for being the lineal champion for a minute, along with obviously having the WBC title for a minute. But, even somebody like Tyson Fury, like he has a resume where he's beaten real competition throughout his career. And the Tank is like, I don't think his resume is as awful as some people make it sound, but I don't think it's as great as his biggest fans make it sound.
Yeah, I don't think his resume is awful at all. Like, and that's why we were having the argument when I'm like, he's a good fighter, and you're like, he's a C-level fighter. Like it's very slim.
Not
though,
Tank,
the margin.
to be clear.
yeah. No, the guys on his resume. Because obviously, like, some guys will hold more weight. It's subjective. That's why it's tough doing these things. It's very subjective on who you think is a good fighter, who you think is a B-level fighter. But nonetheless, like, Shakur Stevenson's resume with that one name, Oscar Valdez, is better than Tank's resume. I'll say that. Shakur Stevenson has a better resume than Tank.
I think Leo Santa Cruz could get into the Hall of Fame.
He will get into the Hall of Fame.
I think Oscar Valdez could get into the Hall of Fame too.
I think Leo Santa Cruz has a resume that people don't speak about a lot. He did a lot. He did a lot at 126 pounds.
He was great. I
He
just
was
think
a stud at 126 pounds.
I just think the version that like toward the end, but to your point, you're saying it might not have actually been the end if he hadn't like gotten knocked out like that.
I think
I
that
also think
knockout like changed everything for him.
Look, that's a good win for Tank, but again, his best win in his own weight class was Jose Pedraza. Like in terms of fighting somebody in his own weight class. And then with Shakur, yeah, I think I agree. Oscar Valdez is like the best win between the two. And Valdez could be somebody who winds up in the Hall of Fame.
Leo Santa Cruz should end up in the Hall of Fame because he's a 4-division champ.
But even beyond that, he had a lot of like memorable fights.
Yeah, like he did it at 118, 122, 126, and he did it at 130, even though it was a WBA. But he's a 4-division world champ. Yeah, but you know, it's a WBA, like you know what I'm saying. But he did it across 4 different weight classes, you guys. Like that's why I'm like, dude, like that's why I put so much weight on Leo Santa Cruz's name. And I'm just like, why do people forget that he did it across 4 divisions? Like, what are we talking about here?
I do think this is not specific to Leo Santa Cruz. I do think the division thing can be overrated, where especially if it comes to like Adrian Broner, they throw around 4-division champion, whatever.
Yeah.
Go look at how he got a couple of those titles because it's bullshit. All right,
but you know, like, Leo's been in some wars though.
Yeah,
come on,
no,
man.
Leo really got it. Like the hard.
Yeah,
Broner had promotional help a ton throughout his career.
They were talking about him.
He might be in the Hall of Fame.
They were talking about Broner on I forget what podcast, and they were just saying like how he might be one of the most disappointing stories of all time because of how great he could have actually been. And it's I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, guys, we spent like an hour on this. We need to get to the Thurman.
We don't. We could table it. We did an hour. We could save it. Look, the fight's in October. This is the story. The fight's in October. Sebastian Fundora is fighting Keith Thurman. Stephen Fulton's fighting. I'll just pull up the card and then we'll go. Because like we're gonna have time to get to this anyway. But
yeah, I can't believe we did an hour on that. That's crazy.
We're back.
We are some nerds. Like,
okay, here we go. I have the main card, although it's missing. The
only fight I care about on that card is Fulton and Foster.
Something's missing here. Hold on, let me check my email because I got it sent to me. I'm on the mailing list. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna share it from here. No, okay. There was another fight that was supposed to be on this card.
There will be more announced, obviously.
That's not on this card, like a major fight, but apparently this is the main card. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There's only one fight I care about on this card.
I care about all three.
Co-main. It's co-main. I don't care about the main event.
Sebastian Fundora for the listening audience. Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman, October 25th, MGM Grand, Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Oshaki Foster versus Stephen Fulton. Great fight for the WBC title. Stephen Fulton's moving up in weight. Yeah. Again, because he already has done that. Stephen Fulton versus Oshaki Foster is a fucking interesting fight.
I also don't know who I'm picking in that fight. That's how good that fight is.
Me neither.
Because it's like I think people sleep on a guy like Oshaki, and at the same time, like it's like I've never seen Cool Boy Steph in this weight class, but he looked decent at 126.
And then Jesus Ramos fighting Shane Mosley Jr.
Great fight for a guy like Jesus Ramos. That's super talented.
For Shane Mosley Jr.
Yeah. I think I'm taking Ramos in that fight, though.
Fundora, Keith Thurman. Huh. Antonio says Leo was a champ at 130 and took his belt.
And as soon as you donate to the show, we put it right on the screen.
Not a natural 130 pounder, though.
Yeah. But like I said, he did it in 4 weight classes, guys. Please put some more respect on Leo Santa Cruz's name. Also, Foxy says UK news: Jack Catterall left his trainer Jamie Moore.
I saw that.
And rumored to start working with Bomac. Very interesting. I mean,
the hell of a combination.
Yeah.
How does that first conversation go? What do they eat when they get together? You know what I mean?
Ugh, I don't
I have
know.
a lot of cultural
What's
questions.
a UK staple for like food?
Oh God.
What is that, like fish and chips?
I subscribe to Jolly. I should know this.
Because I just like, you tell us, Foxy, like what is like the dish there? You know what I mean? It's got to be fish and chips, right? If you're like in London or something, right? I like a good fish and chips. I'm a fan.
Haven't had it.
You've never had fish and chips?
No.
Yo, you're tripping,
And I've
dude.
had a
What?
lot of different, like I've
Dude, what
been
are
more
you doing with
experimental
your life? Like,
because I've
okay,
never
so
been to the UK.
do they
Like,
not? They have fish and chips like in the Bay Area and stuff, though.
when have I ever gone to the Bay Area? I'm in New York. You know this.
Okay, so I guess I didn't realize it, but like Canada is more. There's a lot of parts of Canada that are more so like the UK than America. I would say like Canada is like a good mix of both. I feel.
Look,
And so
New York has every
fish and
food
chips. I know that's what I'm saying. Like, why haven't you ate it? But it would
because
taste
we have
different.
every food, and it's like there's always. I'm never in the mood for. I've never been in the mood for fish
You
and
have to get
chips in New
cod.
York.
Like you have to have like for a fish, you have to get cod. Like the halibut fish and chips doesn't taste
Yeah,
as good.
bacalao.
But
Yeah,
you know what I
but
mean?
like we,
But
you know.
I will say though that you know what? It's also like I think well New York's kind of by the water, but like the Bay and like
Oh yeah.
Vancouver, like we're on the ocean. Like we're by the water. So it's a little bit different. Like I don't know in terms of seafood, but I can't believe you never had fish and chips. They probably have dope fish and chips in New York because
Probably.
everything in New York is good. So
Yeah.
just saying.
I had a poutine here that was good. We
That's
have
no.
we have a
It's not
spot.
it's
Hold
not
on,
the
hold
same.
on,
It's
hold
not
on, hold
it's a
on, hold
Canadian
on.
bar, right? It's a Canadian
Canadian
bar.
restaurant called the Canuck, run by somebody who's you go in and it's just Canada jerseys, hockey jerseys, all
Yeah,
this
I've heard
shit.
about this.
You know what I mean? Like it's a real like
But I will say
you
this,
know.
I know it's not good. You know
I had
why?
poutine in Canada though. Also,
Okay,
you know
no,
this.
but here's the thing. I know it's not good. You know why? Because I have poutine here in Vancouver and it's good. But then when I went to Montreal and I had poutine and I like ate I think I had poutine there like almost because I love poutine, but it was different. And I told this to one of my friends. I'm like, yo, like I don't know how the fries are still crispy like the whole entire time because you eat it in Vancouver and it's like it's not like that. You can get good poutine here though. Like there's famous poutine spots here in Vancouver, but it's not like Montreal. Like
The
it's
one I
not.
had was in
It's totally
Montreal.
different.
The one I had was
Yeah.
in Montreal. And then
Yeah.
I had it again in New York.
And
The
it was
Montreal
good.
one was better, but the New York one was
100%.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't matter because like it's the best in Montreal. Like you can have it in other places and it'll be decent. Like I can go have a poutine at like the worst spot ever, A&W, and have the best time. Like it's good
There's our
every time.
Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman analysis.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about it. I'm gonna say this: I don't care about Fundora and Thurman.
Why not?
I think Keith Thurman is washed, and I've
I
said this
think he could
before.
win this fight.
No, I think he could win this fight, but that's because I don't really think highly. Like I don't think Fundora is that great of a fighter.
I think you're hard
Like
on this. I think you're too hard on that fight.
no,
That's a good fight.
I don't. I'm not happy about this fight.
I'm
I
being
don't care about
consistent.
it.
I would have given Xander Zayas credit for fighting him. I would have given Virgil Ortiz credit for fighting him. I'm giving Sebastian Fundora credit for fighting Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's a real dude right
Yo,
now.
if Fundora beats Thurman, I'll be like, okay, like he's tough because one time is tough, but I think one time's washed.
I don't think he's not past his prime. I mean, he's not in his
Oh,
prime.
he's definitely past his
wait,
prime.
Wait. He's not in his prime. He's past his prime. I had to correct myself.
Okay.
But I don't think he's full blown washed yet. Like Adrian Broner's washed. I don't think Keith Thurman's like fully. He lost.
Adrian Broner is like, it's like way more than washed. Okay, there's washed and then there's just like nothing. Okay, like Adrian Broner, like if washed was a line, it would be a dot to Adrian Broner. Okay, like Keith Thurman is on the line of washed. That's why I don't care about this fight. That's why when you were like, "Yo, Xander Zayas should fight him," yeah, because Xander Zayas would beat him.
No,
Be a
because
tough
Xander
fight.
Zayas is 22.
You guys, Keith, I'm telling you right now, like I think Thurman could beat Fundora, but that's because I don't think Fundora is like the best fighter at 154 pounds. And I've said this before. I think he has changed his style and he looks a lot better. But it's like I think Virgil Ortiz beats him, and I think Xander Zayas beats him.
Who's Xander Zayas going to fight? Is my question.
Oh, maybe he should fight Wash Thurman after Fundora beats Thurman.
Because he's fighting. But Virgil, who's been doing a lot of interviews lately, Virgil Ortiz is going to fight Erickson Lubin. Fundora is going to fight Keith Thurman. I thought Xander would fight Josh Kelly, and now there's talks about maybe Murtazayev is going to fight him
Whoa, that's a
potentially.
crazy fight.
Um,
That's a crazy fight, actually.
so
That's a real fight.
I'm like, should I just do it? Should I just pull up the rankings?
Man, we've gone for a pretty long time. I guess you could. We could do 10 more minutes.
Hopefully it's just 10 minutes.
You're not even speaking English. Like, that's
Yo.
how long we've been on the show for, that we're not even speaking English at this point. Foxy says, fish and chips with a side of curry sauce and mushy peas is the one here. I've never heard of that before.
Mushy
Interesting.
peas?
Is that just like an Indian dish? Because I heard that chicken tikka masala is also London's like national dish now, which I laughed at because it should be fish and chips, right? Anyways, that's a conversation for another time.
I have no follow-ups. Okay, 154. So if Josh Kelly does fight Murtazayev, which I suppose he's a top contender for the IBF title as well, because in looking at this, there's no one ranked ahead of him in the top 2 spots. And Boots is fighting, let's see. Where is he? Where is he? Am I bugging?
I don't know. I'm looking up the best fish and chips in New York. Go ahead.
I think, who cares? Whatever. We talked about Boots' next opponent. I think it's Lima, right?
I don't know. I'm looking at these places. This doesn't look better than Vancouver's fish and chips.
I can't speak to New York fish and chips. You know what I mean?
This is not looking that good. I'm taking a look right now, and I'm just going by the eye. This one place, Oscar's place, looks decent. It doesn't look better than Vancouver fish and chips.
No. Did you look up best fish and chips in
Yes.
New York?
How do you think? I know how to use Google. What do you mean? Like what are you talking about here? Okay, anyways, guys, I'm getting
hungry.
I am, yeah. I think I'm gonna get fish and chips today from the fish counter in Vancouver. We were watching. That's the best fish and chips joint. It's called the Fish Counter. Okay,
yes, okay, if Josh Kelly, let's just play this out. If Josh Kelly's fighting Murtazayev and Boots is fighting, in his fight, and Eric Lubin's fighting Vergil Ortiz, Xander Zayas gonna fight, I don't know, Bohachuk?
That's a good fight though. You don't think that's a good fight?
I think it is.
I think it's a good test for Xander Zayas. Once again, here I am again, like C level, B level. No, that's a name. That's a name in the weight class. I think it's still top 10. If he, as long as he fights, I want him to fight Madrimov.
Bohachuk is fighting next weekend, on the Canelo Crawford card. But remember, there's been talk about Xander Zayas fighting in December. I wonder if that's too quick of a turnaround. Mm-hmm. If it's not, that's interesting. But if it is, then Xander has to get something announced soon. But I also think this is part of why he probably can't even take the Vergil Ortiz fight right now. Like, Top Rank doesn't have a deal. Where are they going to put him? Yeah. Like, I kind of think everyone from Top Rank, him, Michaela Mayer, Keyshawn Davis, Bruce Carrington, like they all kind of have to like wait and see where they're going to be fighting. Are they going to be on TV? Are they going to be on YouTube? Are they going to be on DAZN or whatever? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Steven, who by the way is a good friend of the show, says to Brian, you got to use an ad blocker in this modern age.
I have one. It expired. I got to renew it. And I'm just being lazy about it. That's okay. Like, honestly, that's all it is.
Anyways, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Sorry.
I think that, I think Tank, it'd be disappointing if he retires after the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah.
Like it just, there was meat left on the bone, so to speak. There's a lot left on the table. Like, didn't fight Shakur, didn't fight Lomachenko, and he had opportunities to do it before Loma. Like, there was a report about, he's going to fight Loma, but Loma is like unsure. Loma might retire. And then he actually ended up retiring. But like, you were in and around the same weight class as Lomachenko before that, like years before that. There were other chances to potentially get that done.
But here's the thing, like, this is the one thing that I'll say, and I'll be on Tank's side on this. There was negotiations happening in November. Loma's the one that pulled out of that. It wasn't Tank. Yeah, but, I will say that.
But like, do it before Loma's at the end of the line. It's like, this is my point.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think he kind of went with the I don't even want to say that because I think there's like names on Mayweather's. He went with like the Mayweather plan, right? Like he was, think about it, like Mayweather was promoting him. They were like handpicking their fights, and that was the knock on Tank at one point, regardless of what you want to say. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Ken, thank you for checking in. Says he didn't know what fish and chips was.
What is going on there in America? Like you guys are missing out. But then again, like I don't think unless you're like on the coast. So unless you're on like the West Coast and if you're by an ocean, then like the seafood's really good. But if you're not, then it's like I would never go eat fish and chips in like Texas. I would never I wouldn't do it. Would I eat like fried catfish and like Creole and all? Yeah, 100%. But I would never go and be like, yo, I want to get like 2 cods and like some fries. Like I just wouldn't do it. Like if you're on the West Coast though, it's like a normal thing like fish and chips out here, even in Cali, by the water. So it's just like I don't know.
We call codfish bacalao. So
Is that what they call it? Like is that what they call it in Spanish?
that's what we call it in like if you're Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay.
You know, like that's
Say it again.
bacalao.
Okay, I'm not gonna try. Anyways.
Foxy says Josh Kelly was criticizing Hurd and Boots, saying he accepted the offer, but they went a different route. I'm sure Kelly and Adam Booth rejected the offer, wanting more though. Josh Kelly, did I mention this here? Josh Kelly, because this happened a little while ago. Josh Kelly's side says like, Eddie Hearn can't be serious because they're offering less money than Josh Kelly made in like previous fights to fight Boots, which is why he's not fighting him or whatever the case may be, which Eddie Hearn denies it. And this is why like everyone in boxing, everyone is lying and everyone thinks the other person's lying and that they're telling the truth, and everyone in this sport is full of shit. Everybody. So that's that on that. I think I think we're good for today. We'll be back next week to preview Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford.
That's next week. It's going to be great. We're also going to be doing a post-fight show. Because why wouldn't we do it for the biggest fight of the century? That you could argue, maybe. It's pretty up there.
I mean, Mayweather Pacquiao is still,
I think this is bigger.
I don't.
I do.
I don't.
Because I just think like Pac-Man was so old by that time.
Old Canelo,
but he's not. But like some people like don't think he's that old. Like he's not. Okay, I don't know. We're gonna talk about this on the next episode.
Year 20, Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, but
Manny Pacquiao is even to this day popular, like real 100%. Popular.
He's one of the most popular.
Even as he's pissed a lot of people off with his politics, popular dude.
But that's also because he's an international boxing superstar. He's like a king. If you go to the Philippines,
I'm talking about worldwide, like big fight.
Like, if you go to the Philippines and you go on that boat and then you take a look at like that whole island, that's all Pac-Man's island. All of it. Anyways, that's not the point. Anyways, we'll be back, guys, next week. We'll be previewing Tank and Bud. Let's do it on Monday, Brian. I think we'll get a full week.
Maybe. Osles Iglesias versus Vladimir Shishkin tonight in Montreal. I'll be watching.
All right. Alrighty then.
Actually, no, I won't. Cowboys Eagles are on.
Yeah. What are we talking about here? I'm not gonna be watching that.
I'll watch Osles the recap because
who you got tonight? He got tonight. Obviously, the Eagles, right?
Philly's gonna. Yeah. What?
They're gonna smoke them.
Yeah. They should, but like week 1 be weird. So. But Dallas.
That's the thing. I was talking about this today. I was talking about how week 1's weird. Anyways, guys, we'll be back. Thanks for hanging out with us for an hour talking about Tank and Shakur and
last thing. You're trying to get the fuck out of here. Last thing. Raiders. Over 6.5 wins for the season.
I think they'll have 7 wins. Yeah.
7 and 10. That's what you're giving them?
Yeah, they had 4 wins last year. And I think they win against the Patriots because the Patriots have 4 new guys on the O-line. 2 of them are rookies. No Christian Gonzalez. I think Geno might have a day. And I think the O-line will look better.
I bet they're over. I think they could get to 9 and 8.
I don't think they're going to be that good. There's too many. I know this team too well. There's too many holes on that team. I'm
worried about the secondary for sure.
The secondary, there's a lot of questions. I think the defense will be decent. A lot of things to prove in terms of like linebackers. I'm still not sold on Geno. and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to continue to make mistakes in the red zone, I think. And I think that the O line is not proven. And he didn't have it. That was the knock. Oh, Gino didn't have an O line in Seattle. Well, he don't got
He
one.
didn't.
He
They
don't
had
got
the,
one.
the
He
well,
doesn't have one in Vegas.
well, the
Like they're unproven.
Seattle one, like PFF would be like 30th, 31st.
The O line for the Raiders was really bad last year too.
So,
And it's a lot of the same returning guys. Your right tackle is DJ Glaze. They shifted.
name.
He's played really well though, right? Like their center is Jordan Meredith. Jackson Powers Johnson was supposed to be the center. They switched. Like this is an O line that doesn't have continuity. So it's like, you know, it's going to be tough for Gino, and he will continue to make mistakes in the red zone. Anyways, this is not a football podcast.
At least
but
they
if you
have
want to know
Jancy
more,
and Bowers. So
but you can't do anything without a good O line. Period. You cannot run the ball without an O line.
Screen.
you just cannot. You cannot run the ball without an O line. That's what I'll say. And Derek, no, I won't. But that mystical song is trending on Twitter. Anyways.
No, it's not. Fuck.
Anyways, we're gonna go. You guys ruined my workout time.
We've been here too long.
Okay. Anyways,
you can still go. Go.
No, I have to do interviews. I have a game tomorrow. Anyways, see y'all later.
Go after.